Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy from the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.
A friend with Tito than you.
Tito can't do this.
You just proved
he doesn't have nunchuck skills or whatever these skills are called, kendama skills. What's the nicest gift you've ever received? Like out of the blue, like what's the one thing that you were just like, wow, like I can't believe you thought of me.
From anybody?
From anybody. What's the greatest gift you've ever received?
Non-family. I'm a big fan of the challenge coin that I got from Joe Montega.
Oh yeah.
Who we were not friends, and he still honored me with that. A couple of other guys have given me their jerseys, which has been pretty cool. I can't think of anything you've given me. A football from a guy.
I gave you a headache.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gave you better ratings.
So. You do give me headaches, that's for sure. All right, so last night, I believe, was the fifth episode of The Ultimate Fighter, which is available on ESPN+. Let's welcome to the program Eduardo Perez, better known as the Boogeyman.
Hey guys, how's it going? How are you guys?
All right, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Glad to talk to you guys.
Awesome. Well, let's start with, how did you find out? Walk us through the process of being selected to be on this season of The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, so shout out to my manager Lamont. He reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be in The Ultimate Fighter. It was a no-brainer. I've been watching this since I was a kid. So when I got the opportunity, I jumped on it. I told him absolutely, and then filled out my application. I went to I got flown out. I went to the interviews and all that, and so then I got selected. And then from there, it was just on to the next thing.
Before I ask you this question, just to show that I'm kidding, we're going to have a good time. I've been involved with covering the Ultimate Fighter since season 1. So when I ask you about the gym, and couldn't you find a better gym to be a member at than AKA, I'm saying that as a joke. After watching you last night, I do not want you mad at me.
No, absolutely not. I mean, AKA, it's world-renowned. We got, great guys. We got, guys like Khabib. We have, DC, Cain. Cain was a big inspiration to me growing up. So, I'm only an hour away from AKA, so it was something that was very doable, and it was a no-brainer for me.
How difficult has it been for you and for the team at AKA with the whole situation that Cain's going through?
Oh man, yeah. Unfortunately, when it happened, I was actually at the house, in the Ultimate Fighter house in Vegas. So I didn't know about it till like a week after it happened, and it was definitely, it was a downer. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going to happen. Cain, at the gym is, everybody. He helps everybody out. He was helping me out to get ready for the show. So it's definitely a hard loss right now. We're hoping the best, though. We still don't know what's going to happen.
And just to throw this out, he's a great guy to everybody. He's great to the people that he knows at AKA, but I've seen him, since he started his career with the UFC. How he treats fans, how he treats the media, how he treats opponents. Has been top notch since day one.
Yeah, absolutely. We get people, fans that, go out to the gym all the time, and, they run into some of the fighters, like Cain, Khabib. Cain, he never denies them anything. He's always taking pictures with fans. He's so humble, given the level that he's reached in MMA. He is, down-to-earth guy, and I wish nothing but the best, and I hope to see him, out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Where have you watched? I'm not going to, what's the word? Stalk. I'm not stalking you or anything. I'm just curious. Where do you watch every week? Do you have a big get together, a big party somewhere?
Yeah. So this week I watched my episode at home with my family. We watched it over at my sister's house. My sister Rosa. That's kind of like where the family gets together at her house in Pinole, California. So yeah, we had like a little food. It was, pretty intimate. It was just my siblings and I.
Where are we? I think I turned me down by mistake. Where are we in filming right now?
We are in the 5th, so like around almost halfway.
Roughly how many days?
I want to say, let's see, maybe like 20 days in.
20 days in. Just curious. And again, we're only talking up through, last night's episode.
Yeah, so up until maybe like 25 days in. 20 days in.
Oh, I thought you had something. You looked at me like you were going to talk. You're useless over here. My co-host is forgets how to talk when a guest comes on. Talk about it, and it was briefly addressed last night, more from Max, than you. Being, the first pick, being kind of like the guy with the bullseye on, and then, fighting the guy that was picked last. Was that more pressure? Was there added pressure, or is there already pressure just going in there and fighting for a UFC contract?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There was pressure just, going in, fighting, for the contract with the UFC. It's just, I'd never overlooked Bobby. People keep saying that, but, they don't understand that Bobby is a world-class grappler. He's won worlds, I believe, in gi in every belt division up until black belt. So, he's a highly decorated grappler. So people, don't know the ins and outs, but he was probably maybe one of the most dangerous ones there. He's a veteran. He's been there before. You look at his physique. He's a very fit individual. So I did not take him lightly at all. I knew going in there was going to be a hard fight if I didn't, go out there and do what I needed to do.
Talk about the very start of the fight. Everybody was confident. Even his own team, felt like this was going to be a fight, but that you should take this fight fairly easy. Talk about the very start of the fight, because, I'm sure that fans watching are like, what's going on? What were you thinking at the very beginning of the fight?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my coaches, Coach Amanda and her team, we were preparing for more of a Greco-Roman, which is what we saw towards, as after I got up from the first takedown, more of like a tie up, top, clinch game to take down. It wasn't so much of like a single double, which is what he, initially did, which is what surprised me, which, he got me with. So we only have a week and a half to prepare for someone, so we have to adjust on the fly. So yeah, he took me down. I was a little bummed at myself that, I let him take me down. So I definitely, wanted to come back and then prove a point and finish Bobby in the fight.
So I don't always not talk, but I do have a question. Back in the day when UFC, the Tough series started, it was unknown. It wasn't mainstream. People didn't know what UFC was. They didn't understand the letters behind it. They still thought it was barbaric. And I know a lot of the guys that started it were like pioneers and they were doing it because they were on the ground level. But how cool is it to be on ESPN, and in the bottom right-hand corner it says, tune in to this week's episode of Tough, and it's promoting you on the 4-letter network. And how cool is it to have those 3 letters behind your name?
Yeah, it's surreal sometimes. I get messages from family members, friends that are tuning in every week, and they're hitting me up, telling me, man, we can't believe this, we're so proud of you. And going into the show, I knew it was a process. I knew that I had to go in there, perform, and slowly everything was going to be in place. But it's still surreal sometimes, watching the episodes, and after this week, which was my fight, it means a lot. It definitely means a lot. It motivates me to keep, training hard and then going to the next level, and then, getting a contract with the UFC.
How difficult has it been since you've been out of the house? You knew, the people that were there filming, your teammates, and I even hate, even after last night's episode, it's difficult to call people that you just met and you've been together for 10 days, quote unquote, teammates. But how difficult has it been to keep the success of last night's episode to yourself and not let anybody know?
It definitely has been a little bit difficult. Like I said, there's a lot of people tuning in, so they're keeping them to date. They're asking, what's gonna happen next. What's going on. I'm like, what, just tune in. Keep watching the fights. Thank you guys for the support. Just keep watching. Big things are coming. Just keep watching the show.
I'm curious as to during the fight, and then as you rewatched it last night, and I'll tell you my opinion before you even answer. Talk to me about the ending of the fight. I'm very critical of, and I am a judge in the state of Florida. I am critical of referees that stop fights too early. But even I was screaming to myself in my den watching the screener that fight should have been stopped way before it was.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because when we got back home to the Ultimate Fighter house, I don't know if you guys know Bobby or talk to Bobby Maximus. He's a great guy. We still keep in contact to this day. We call each other all the time. But yeah, man, I was like, hey, man, I don't want to say I'm sorry, but I thought the fight should have been stopped a little earlier as well. I told them, I think the ref should have stopped it a little bit earlier. I agree with you guys. I think there was an elbow that was landed, right before the punches were thrown that kind of cut him open. I think that should have been the end of the fight.
And that was after the left punch and the right hook and the left jab and there was a lot of punches thrown. Obviously, great job by you, but you can only do what you can do until they step in and stop it.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I told my hey, I wish the ref would have stopped it, a little bit sooner. But I had to do what I had to do until the judge pulled me off.
And again, we're only talking up through last night's episode, so that's all I'm asking is up to that point. Have you yet, halfway through the filming, started? And it's kind of funny because the other side brought up about training, and was Bobby talking about it? So I'm not asking that, but I'm asking up to this point, have you started worrying about? And again, I don't know to call a teammate somebody that you've only been together for 10 days, but that you may be fighting that person, to win the Ultimate Fighter. Has that popped into your head yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked about it on the show with my other teammate Chandler Cole. We were like, hey man, if we make the finale and we have to fight each other, we'll go out there and put on a great show. Like no hard feelings. We're super tight. So it was gonna be just pure competition. There was like no ill will towards each other. We knew that we both are chasing the same thing. So whether I win or he loses, or he wins or I lose, it's gonna be to